volunteer to go up and draw 2 names from the box, please? And you'll give away the door prize.
Because I'm not in the box.
Thank you, Christine. Tim's up on the step here.
I'm gonna take the glasses off. Fred.
Fred.
Fred Fast.
Brad? Oh,
That's you?
well, that's me.
The door prize.
Paul Sander. They're beauty products.
So I'd like to follow this up with a few of us saying a few words about not only the center, but some of the reasons why we're here in existence. And I think I'd like to start with Mr. Justin Trottier.
It's great to see all of you. Darren, more than anybody, for pulling together a great team and making this center happen and making this day happen. He's also joined by Brahma and Kate and Christine and of course Jim, president of Cafe. It's a really solid team. I'm sure it will continue to do great things. I'm happy to see that team grow and continue to grow, and we've now got some resources available to make sure that we can continue to grow the operations here and the volunteers that can provide more programs and services to families that need it. I want to thank Mike for cutting the ribbon, and I hope you'll say a few words if you feel like it later. And Dr. Sardar, if I'm pronouncing that right, the proprietor and owner of this beautiful space, for working out an arrangement with Center for Men and Families so that we could turn it into what is now the 3rd full-time center in Ontario, Center for Men and Families. Talk a little bit about that in a bit, but without his participation, his generosity, and his willingness to take a chance with a new organization in the community, this wouldn't be possible. So I think he deserves quite a bit of our gratitude. So as I indicated, this is the 3rd full-time center in Ontario. We started in Toronto in 2014. We opened a center in Ottawa in 2017, and now we've got this beautiful space here in St. Thomas, from which we hope to operate across the region. So we're branding this as the Center for Ontario West. So it's going to support communities and families in St. Thomas, in London, of course, in Windsor and Sarnia. I know that this is a big geography, but our organization is kind of pushed to the limit. We've only got, as I say, 3 centers in Ontario, so we're trying to help communities as broadly as we can. We also operate a center in Calgary, and we're looking at broadening our operations across Western Canada. That's a big priority for us for the next couple of years. So I just wanted to give you that broader context. And you may know a little bit about what we do with these unique spaces. And if you don't, there's some literature on the desks out front. There's brochures, and there's a 1-page flyer that in particular goes through what we're providing in St. Thomas and what we hope to do once we have the resources to expand those services in this particular community. So you can familiarize yourself by picking up that literature, but very broadly speaking, we bill ourselves as a hub for programs and services that fill gaps for boys, men, fathers, and their families. And I can tell you there's a lot of gaps. There's a lot of programs that boys, men, and fathers don't have access to. Parenting programs, in particular in the context of separation or divorce. So we run a program called Fathering After Separation or Divorce. We have a legal clinic that provides access to pro bono legal support for men dealing with various aspects of the law. And of course, we have lots of different mental health programs, from counseling to peer support groups, to groups that focus in particular areas. So for example, very big gap is if you're a man dealing with domestic abuse. There's virtually nothing for that population. So we operate the first of their kind support groups and associated programs for who are victims of domestic abuse. And on that particular note, I'll just share some exciting news. Actually, 2 pieces of news. One is a research project that we're working on at the national level. We're also a research organization. So we're looking at the connection between homelessness and domestic abuse. So the research question is, to what extent does male victimization from domestic abuse contribute to male homelessness? It's an interesting question. It's a question nobody's really looked at from a scholarly point of view. The federal government gave us our first research grant, so we were able to do this work. And we don't have the final report out yet, but the data that's already been made available to us suggests that it is a bigger component of why men are homeless, a bigger factor of what contributes to male homelessness than was previously understood to be the case. Now, this supports the other good news, which is that we're doing a fundraiser to open the first shelter for male victims of domestic abuse. We've raised over $250,000 from private capital, probably many of you gave. But this is just from thousands of donors who gave small amounts and big amounts because they support this cause. No government money yet. We have meetings with government to try to get them to come in as a partner, but this is all just from thousands of Canadian citizens from all across the country who think that this is desperately important. So this, I just wanted to give you a taste for some of the work that the centres across Canada and the parent organization, the Canadian Association for Equality, is involved in leading. And we do that in partnership with many organizations and communities all across Canada. Part of our mission isn't just to do all these things on our own, but to actually galvanize change across the sector, across the social service sector, to do better for men and boys from a service and a policy point of view. And we're really grateful to have partnerships with important agencies in order to be able to do that. Let me just say that I think that this particular center has tremendous potential. Not only does it fill a key gap in and of itself in terms of the geography of our ability to provide services. We have clients, potential clients calling us from all over Ontario. When we were just operating in Toronto, it was impossible to do much of anything outside of the GTA. But now with Ottawa and St. Thomas and other sort of outposts that are in development across the province, we can help so many more families. So thank you for being a part of that. I hope you will sign up as a volunteer, you will sign up maybe as a donor, give what you can. As I indicated, thousands of people give, and it adds up and it allows us to do some really important things in the community. So I hope to count on you as a volunteer and or as a donor. If you need our services, that's why we're here. So don't hesitate to ask Darren or other members of the team for what kind of programs are available. We want to be a part of the solution for communities and families that need our support. So please don't feel shy about asking us questions about what programs are available to you. And anything else that we can do at the national level to support the center. Darren, you know that we're always here for you.
That's right.
So thanks, Darren and Jim and the rest of the team, and thanks to all of you for joining us. And I hope that you will stay connected and provide an important contribution to helping us build a solid foothold here in this beautiful town of St. Thomas. Thanks again.
Thank you.
If I could call up Mike. Thank you very much. Yeah, great.
Over there.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody, for inviting Karen and subsequently me here today. I'm really happy to be here. One thing I didn't realize was the research aspect of the organization. Karen, one of her portfolios is she's the Shadow Minister for Family, Children, and Social Development. So I think we can work together here to make a lot of good things happen through that. She's also the chair of the Status of Women Committee as well, which also does studies and reads studies on homelessness. Funny enough, so they're deep in that stuff right now. So I'm sure that there's going to be a connection that Karen could use further on. I've said to a few people here today, I'm 48 years old. I grew up in this town, and I can say that thank God that this place is here. Where were you 30 years ago? This is amazing. I've already told some of my friends, female and male, about some of the opportunities that are here, and everybody that I've told so far is super excited. I will do what I can to support. I started a Rogers television show. I think that's something that we can do a highlight on this organization in particular, and then go Canada-wide and let people know. No, it's only Rogers St. Thomas. Don't get too excited. There's some jokes there.
We'll put it on Netflix.
Sure, they'll pick it up, I'm sure. But anyway, I won't take any more time, but thank you so much for all of you being here, and again for the invitation, and look forward to working with you in the future. Thank you.
Great. I guess I'll just say a few words now, and then I'm going to start passing it off to some of the team members here. And we also have a gentleman here who gave us a call a couple weeks back that has a few things to say about domestic violence and his situation with that. So he loves to share a little bit of that. I really just want to say thank you to everybody that's helped make this possible. First off, my team, Justin, Jim, Brahma, Kate, Christine. Like, I can't do all this stuff myself, and all the help I've gotten from you guys has been amazing. I'm really grateful for all the help that you guys have given in the past, and right up to today. Kate, super woman was able to go around the community and get up a whole bunch of donated items for us to have today. So that's thank you, Kate. And if I didn't say thanks to my wife for standing by me while I kind of go through this whole thing, I'd be really remiss in. Thank you. Yeah, I'm lucky to be here, happy to be here, doing this work. You know, stuff happened in my life that kind of put me into this path. And now here I am able to help others that may find themselves on this path. My big thing is, when I was a little kid, my mom kind of took me from my dad and never saw him again. That same kind of thing has happened to me and my boys. That's a limited thing. I don't want my boys to take on my legacy and to be standing here doing the same thing I'm doing. So that's why I'm here doing this. I want to make sure that families get to have that time together that they need, and that's my personal motivation. Brahma, could I maybe get you to say a few words now?
Sure.
Thank you very much.
I'm Brahma. I was asked by Darren a while back, years ago, to join this organization called CAFE, which I'd never heard of. But as soon as I heard it was for equality, I was in, because I'm all about equality. And then when I joined the organization, and we were having meetings in London, I said, whoa, I didn't know this. I didn't know that. I didn't know that about boys. I didn't know about this and that. So now I want to get on board to spread all the things that I still don't know, but the things I do know. That's why I'm involved with this organization. And it's just touches my heart to be able to serve like this. My personal role here is that I'm certified meditation teacher, I'm a certified life coach, and we're going to offer group support sessions in our wonderful room over here. Plus, I'm going to offer free meditation sessions for men and their families who want to get involved with that. And I'm just involved with the team to help promote more of this organization and plan more events. So thank you for coming. This is an amazing first grand opening day.
Thank you, Brahma. I think right now I would like to call Kate up to say a few words. Please, Kate.
I'm not a big speaker, but it's funny how I met Darren, because I wanted to rent a business for my counseling I did. So I went to look at another office and talked to his wonderful wife, Donna. And then Darren, she said, I think you should talk to my husband. So then Darren got in touch with me and we talked. And I do here, I offer counseling. So I do the counseling and any support that they need. So I give them a couple hours free on their time so that they can either break it up into half an hour or have 2 1 hours. And then if I can help them, we'll help them and we'll get them into group that we're gonna start running. Or if I can't help them, we can always give them information or get them somewhere that they really do need extra help. But yeah, I study more and more and more to try and get on all these new things that we have out there with PTSD. And so, but yeah, I just like giving my time and kind of ran into Darren, and this is amazing. I mean, this is what we needed, right? I've been on the other side with all the women abuse, and I used to work at victim services. So with that, I know both sides, and we had men that were abused, came into victim services, and we had absolutely nowhere to send them. Nowhere. And I mean, victim services can offer the money, but they can't give the support. So this is great, and making that connection with victim services would be great. So anyway, I thank you for coming, and this is amazing.
I'd like to call Christine up, if you don't mind. Christine spent a little time with us in the past, and this is the first time I've seen her in a little while.
I don't know what to say.
Wow. Maybe why you got involved with us in the first place.
How I got involved in the first place is because I've seen both sides. I've seen the sides and some very dear friends of mine, men, who were in the situation of domestic violence and didn't really know what to do, where to go. And one thing led to another, and a friend of mine, David, who runs the Ottawa Center, connected me with Justin. And with that, he forward information to me regarding the website, so I passed that on and then found out that they were looking for volunteers. And I felt that if we want to help our children, both daughters and sons, we need to come together and help all of us. It's not just men and women, we need to come together as a community and support each other to help make changes for our future, the children of the future, their grandchildren. So it's very important to me because I grew up in a very violent home. And I can see how devastating it is and how it affects people, their future, and how they raise their children. So I'm here to be part of that change. So that's my participation. Thank you.
I'm sorry to put you on the spot.
No, that's okay.
John, can I get you to come up and
Sure.
talk a little bit now? Do you mind?
No, I don't mind.
Thanks. I'm just saving Jim to the end because I got to save the best for last.
All right, that's perfect. Thanks for inviting me to speak today. I got involved with the center about a month ago through Justin, contacting Justin, and then he directed me down to Darren a couple weeks ago. I'm joining the center as a victim of male spousal abuse. After 20 years, I was finally able to get out. I married my high school sweetheart in my early 20s. And from that day, they say love is blind, but I guess so is a young man who is only willing to provide for the woman he thinks is his world. Soon after marrying, I started noticing the daily criticism, the negative remarks, and then I'd get an ignore session for a day, 2 days, up to a month. Then going from that, we would do, you didn't clean the bathroom right, you missed this spot. Then it went to, I didn't say hello correctly when I came in the door from work. My finances were taken over. I wasn't allowed to go out and see even my own friends and family. My family was cut off from me by the time I was married for 10 years. By the time I was married for 15 years, I had attended many, many counseling sessions and classes on communications, on anger management, and as well as going as far as in 15th, 16th year, I was hypnotized to not be able to feel the emotions of anger or any emotions that I considered could bring on anger. 2 years ago, I had a breakdown and tried to kill myself. I was admitted to the St. Thomas Elgin General Hospital, where in watching my wife's actions and my wife's actions with the staff and through conference calls, were able to show me what was happening. Not wanting to believe it, not wanting to believe the doctors or the nurses, not even the law officials who told me to get out because of the abuse. It was going to end up killing me. I was admitted to Homewood Health Care Center for the Integrated Mood and Anxiety Program. Lots of people don't realize that men who suffer from domestic abuse either end up, we have a high suicide rate, and we also end up suffering from extreme depression and anxiety, a fear of not doing something right. I stand here today because I want the word out there. It needs to be spread. More light needs to be shone on it. My wife is walking out there spreading bad news that I abandoned her and my children. My children are adults. I have not seen my daughter in months. My son I see all the time, but unfortunately, she's never been charged. The police will not look at my records. I have everything documented, right down to every email chat that we've had, and nobody will look at it. And the lawyers tell me there's nothing we can do. So my idea is, I want the word out there. I've offered to give all my services. I do accounting for a living. I've offered the center my services there. I also do fundraising with King Canada, who will not allow me to speak on the topic either. King Canada shut me down because my ex-wife sits on the district executive for this area, and they shut me down telling me my topic is irrelevant, even with my club's support. My club has backed me 100%. The only reason I'm standing here today, after leaving my wife almost a year ago, is through friends, family, and the beautiful support of my girlfriend, and our hand-in-hand walk and steps that we do day by day. I'm happy that I got involved with the center. Darren's been working with me to get me some good counseling because I am starting to suffer from any events that I have to attend with my roles within the King Canada. She is there. So I suffer severely, having to even see her. And I cannot even have a restraining order. So, as I said to Darren, anything I can do, I want to give the center everything I can, and all my time. And they know to call on me at any time.
Thank you very much, Dylan, for sharing that story with us. It's heartbreaking to hear that. And you're not alone, and you need a healing. You definitely do. I'm so glad you could join us and offer your services, and it's very valuable. We really appreciate it. So Jim Brown has not yet spoken, but before he does, I just wonder if there's anybody else here that would like to say a few words. Okay, Jim, you're up. Thank you, Jim.
I go back a long way with Cafe. I was put in touch with Justin in the early days of Cafe because I was being interviewed on television for work I was doing with boys in school. And the host said, I know who you need to speak to, because the same day he had interviewed Justin for the work he was doing with Cafe. So we got in touch with one another, and I joined and became involved in it. That's about 7 years ago. So that's in the early days of Cafe. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to help any way I can. If anyone isn't familiar at all with what I do, I write children's books for boys. And my co-author is around here somewhere. My co-author is Christy White. And so on the table you'll see books that, some books that I've written, but you'll see books that Christy has written as well. Christy writes books for Indigenous boys, and they're extremely well received. So you'll see those if you're interested. But I've traveled the country a few times, speaking about what boys are experiencing. The boys are experiencing in general, but also what they're experiencing, particularly at school, and the fact that we're headed for a serious problem if we don't act before long. Anyway, that's my contribution. It's my contribution to this organization. And I thank you all for coming. I'm just absolutely beside myself delighted with the number of people who are here, including some people that I haven't seen for a while, so I'm happy to see them as well. I won't keep it any longer because we have much more important things to do.
Thank you very much, Jim. So there's one more matter. We want to cut the cake and get people having some cake to help us celebrate this grand opening. But before I do that, we have a little bit of an announcement. Kate, can you give me a hand here? This poster, this is for Jim's Odyssey for Equality. And it's been a long time that he's been on this road. So, can you reach that one? No. No? Okay. Maybe Brahma can reach that.
It's the short one.
Jim, we have a little dedication here. We are naming this the James S. Brown Foyer to recognize all the work that you have done with the Canadian Association for Equality and the Canadian Centre for Men and Families. Now who got the steadiest hand for cutting cake?
Brahma, you're the best.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Don't forget, Brahma, you want the big flowers.